247 million. That's how many times TikTok was downloaded in the first 3 months of this year.
I could spend hours because it's really, TikTok is really addicting.
Politicians are now harnessing the fastest growing social media app in history, using TikTok to reach young voters.
It's really the kind of social media platform that allows quite a large reach.
But popularity has a price. Could the platform become a hotbed for disinformation?
When it comes to issues of hate speech, there should be a no-tolerance approach because that destroys the fabric of Malaysian unity.
And will TikTok change politics?
If it's being used to push political agendas, then we are in dangerous territory.
It is just over a week since Thailand headed to the polls, where nearly 70 political parties vied for 52 million votes. In the end, the debutant Move Forward Party, MFP, emerged with a stunning victory, winning more seats than any other party. To appeal to young voters, the party deployed a new campaigning weapon, the social media app, TikTok.
First is to branch out to new voters. It's really the kind of social media platform that allows quite a large reach, a wide reach of audiences. Second is to combat fake news that's coming from the TikTok. And thirdly is to capture the Generation Z voters where they're very much based on TikTok and not so much on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Line. So those are the three primary reasons why we engage TikTok. But I'm not very good at it. My team is good, I'm not so good.
Within a month, the Move Forward Party's followers on TikTok soared from 1 to almost 3 million. In a way, the party's story mirrors that of the social media app. A new entrant, punching above its weight, sweeping aside the old guard. Ying Chip Atchanon, the director of iLaw, a non-profit organization advocating for a fairer justice system in Thailand, noticed the growing influence of TikTok on politics.
TikTok is becoming more and more powerful today, not only because TikTok itself, but because of Facebook and Twitter. Popularity keeps declining due to the change of algorithm of Facebook. Facebook is no longer powerful for social campaign.
The new social media kid on the block, TikTok's first iteration was called Douyin, launched in China in 2016. It was made available worldwide the year after, under the name TikTok. TikTok started to gain in popularity in 2018, and by 2021, it had 1 billion active users worldwide. By contrast, Facebook and Instagram only surpassed that number of users after 8 years. Twitter has yet to cross this mark.
It has been a year, I think around a year, that we try to work more on TikTok. And we got a lot of followers very, very fast. Followers comes fast, too fast, unpredictably fast. For example, on Twitter we have 240,000 followers, but we spent 14 years already before reaching these numbers. But on TikTok we get 200,000 within, I think, a year or less. Politicians cannot avoid having their own TikTok accounts and cannot just ignore this new phenomena.
Over in Malaysia, at the headquarters of the Malaysian United Democratic Alliance, or MUDA, politician Syed Saddiq and his team are filming a TikTok video for Hari Raya Aidilfitri.
So, the first scene, now we will shoot from, you already changed your Raya shirt. and then you are preparing to go to masjid.
The 30-year-old MP of Muar is arguably Malaysia's most popular politician on social media.
I remember it was during the midst of COVID. It was sometime in 2020. I remember in Malaysia was the first Malaysian politician to be on TikTok. It was very much light content, but it reached out to a very unique target group then, which was Malaysians below 30 years old and as young as 16 years old. And it particularly catered to fellow Malaysians, the masses, which do not care much about politics and public policy, but cares about very light social media content. So I thought, instead of preaching to the already converted audience, I thought TikTok would help me reach out to the masses and to the young in ways which are very unique.
Today, Sadiq has close to 1 million followers on the platform. And his content features more than felines, food and fitness.
I think my highest reach video is nothing about fun, entertainment, dancing like other people. No, it's actually about me talking about Tibet in Parliament, putting a funky song, nice captioning, and explaining about Tibet in 1 minute, which reached almost 5 million people.
TVET stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, a program to upskill Malaysians. And Sadiq has found a winning formula in communicating policy to his followers.
And you can't just dance on TikTok. A politician who dances on TikTok, people may think, I won't take you seriously. But when you include the element of education behind it, therefore people gain value from it, from watching your video, besides it being fun, but you also get value.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Compared to older social media apps, TikTok has the youngest user base. A majority of those on the platform are under the age of 34. And out of the number of active users across the globe, 1 in 4 are from Southeast Asia. And with its quick scrolling, video-based interface, users are hooked.
I can spend all day watching TikTok. I could spend hours because it's really TikTok is really addicting. Yeah, because the content that I watch, it could be about food, people cooking, or
like
it could
silly stuff.
Yep, or like funny contents, of people mimicking their spouses, stuff like that.
When I'm on the train, I would consume like funny TikToks, like whatever that's appearing on my For You page.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, I just look at whatever's recommended to me. I start with one video, next thing 10 minutes later, I'm like, don't know how many videos already.
Increasingly, TikTok has become the go-to source for news for the young. Reuters' 2022 Digital News Report states that the use of TikTok for news among 18 to 24-year-olds have risen 5-fold in 2 years, from 3% in 2020 to 15% in 2022.
Malaysian context-wise, I follow YB Syed Sadiq, obviously Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Jason Yu, who is a very good TikToker for news outlet, for covering news.
For current issues, sometimes I follow Arvind Kumar. So he's famous for the Makcik Rosmah, right? So he likes to use this character to talk about current issues, anything that's happening around the world, basically.
And politicians are going where the votes are. In Malaysia's elections last year, a number of politicians campaigned on TikTok.
I would say, especially in the run-up to G15, TikTok proved to be very popular. In fact, some people have dubbed it the first TikTok elections. In 2013 and 2018, you see Facebook and WhatsApp play a more prominent role. I follow about 10 candidates or so in the parliament constituency during the campaign period. So you can see that there is usually about 2 videographers that follow the candidates. One person will be doing videos in terms of more cinematic videos, right? Another person is usually specifically assigned to make TikTok videos. So it's always on the go. So the campaign style changed somewhat, I would say, because of TikTok. So there's always the urge to produce fast-paced content, brief but regular, maybe 3 or 4 videos a day at least.
This trend was also reflected in the Thai elections, a country with over 40 million adult TikTok users. Social media analytics firm Ysight reported a jump of 1.2 million in political content messages before and through the campaign period. Once known for dance videos and lifestyle clips, TikTok's influence on politics is now undeniable.
ต้องบอกว่าที่เรามอนิเตอร์นะครับเราจะเห็นว่าโตขึ้นเรื่อยๆตามการเติบโตของแพลตฟอร์ม TikTok เนี่ยกำลังเติบโตสูงมากๆนะครับดังนั้นไม่แปลกว่าคนจะไปอยู่ในแพลตฟอร์มนั้นค่อนข้างเยอะและเมื่อคนเล่นแพลตฟอร์ม TikTok เขาก็ต้องการที่จะมี follower หรือว่ายอดวิวที่มันเยอะขึ้นการที่จะมียอดวิวหรือ follower เยอะขึ้นได้นะครับก็ต้องทำคอนเทนต์ที่น่าสนใจการที่คอนเทนต์น่าสนใจได้ก็เป็นต่อว่าอาจจะต้องเป็นคอนเทนต์ที่เร็วเป็นคอนเทนต์ที่สร้างความแปลกใจเซอร์ไพรส์นะครับคนไทยชอบเซอร์ไพรส์หรือว่าเป็นคอนเทนต์ที่ยังไม่มีใครพูดถึงซึ่งการที่มันจะเข้าเงื่อนไขพวกนี้เนี่ยมันก็มีแนวโน้มว่าคอนเทนต์นั้นอาจจะไม่ได้รับการตรวจทานที่ดีก็เป็นที่มาของการที่ว่ามันอาจจะเป็นข่าวปลอมได้นะครับพอเป็นข่าวปลอมอยู่ในแพลตฟอร์มที่เติบโตคนเข้ามาเล่นเยอะมันก็มีอัตราที่สูงขึ้นตามตัว
But now, TikTok has to contend with the problem that plagues all the social media platforms that came before it, the problem of fake news.
So the threat of misinformation and disinformation spreading wider is higher on TikTok.
Malaysian politician Syed Saddiq has encountered many stories about him on social media. The problem is, some of them aren't true.
This is not just on TikTok, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, predominantly on Twitter. In many ways saying that if I were to be re-elected in Muar, then I'd like to say I will destroy the monarchy, that I'm anti-monarchy. They were also spreading rumors that I'm anti-Islam, right? That I want to remove all religious subjects. Well, in reality, my platform was very different. I was talking about treating university students as adults and letting them, giving them the flexibility to decide their elective subjects.
With TikTok's growing popularity, it is increasingly being scrutinized as a source of fake news. Fake news is a term popularized by former US President Donald Trump, mainly to discredit news he does not like.
It doesn't bother me at all, but I like real news, not fake news. You're fake news. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
But for experts, it typically refers to misinformation and disinformation.
Misinformation is fabricated content or misleading content which is spread or passed on without any intention to harm others. Disinformation, on the other hand, is fabrication that is created in order to especially harm individuals or certain groups.
On TikTok, video dominates. And as the old adage goes, seeing is believing. One study found that 58% participants believed misinformation shown in video, as opposed to 33% who believed misinformation in text. And the short-form nature of the videos on TikTok, with average durations between 36 to 42 seconds, could add to the problem.
ให้เด็กวัยรุ่นมาเปิดดูดีเบตยาวๆ3ชั่วโมง5ชั่วโมงเนี้ยอาจจะไม่ได้รับความสนใจแต่พอมีแพลตฟอร์มอย่าง TikTok เนี่ยเขาคัดไฮไลท์คัดจุดที่สำคัญหรือว่าพักไปดีเบตที่ไหนแล้วอุ๊ยอันนี้ฉันพูดดีจังเลยก็สามารถที่จะตัดได้นะครับซึ่งการที่มาดู1นาที3นาที5นาทีพวกนี้เขาไม่ได้รู้สึกว่ามันกินเวลาเขาเยอะดังนั้นก็อาจจะมีผลถูกไหมเพราะเราได้เห็นแต่มุมดีๆคือการที่เราจะรับรู้ข้อมูลข่าวสารได้แล้วเอามากลั่นกรองได้เนี่ยมันเกิดจากหลายอย่างนะ1เลยประสบการณ์2เลยทัศนคติและการจะมีเรื่องของอคติเข้ามาเกี่ยวข้องด้วย
There is another type of harmful content that experts warn could spread on TikTok, designed to attack others, usually on the basis of identity: hate speech.
Now, hate speech can include misinformation and disinformation, but it may not also include misinformation and disinformation. What happened with the use of TikTok, especially in Malaysia, TikTok was a breeding ground for hate speech and polarizing content.
Malaysia's 15th general election last November was a contentious one. It was widely seen as a contest between the pluralistic coalition Pakatan Harapan, or PH, helmed by Anwar Ibrahim, and the Malay-centric parties like the Malay Islamic Party, or PAS, Bersatu, and the United Malays National Organisation, or UMNO. In the lead-up to GE15, researchers noticed an alarming trend, a surge of discriminatory content on TikTok.
What went viral is more anti-Chinese, discriminatory and hateful content. Now, when such contents go online or viral on social media platforms, what it does is it creates this polarization or divide between certain groups, right? In this case, it was the Chinese and non-Chinese groups.
But some of the videos that went viral were not made by popular accounts. Instead, TikTok's recommendation algorithm prioritizes audience engagement over creators' popularity. This sets it apart from other social media platforms.
Some of the most viral pro-Perikatan national content, which is videos that promote, let's say, PAS or Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, only have like a few hundred followers. Why this is so? Because of the TikTok algorithm, right? Something can go viral more quickly despite not having a huge amount of followers. This is not the case on Facebook, this is not the case on TikTok, Twitter, I would say, and even on Instagram, right? Usually the number of followers matter. The rules have changed on TikTok.
Ryan is a 20-year-old Chinese Muslim with over 170,000 followers on TikTok. He gained some 10,000 new followers during the elections.
I reverted to Islam on July 2021. So after that, as the time goes by until 2022 or 2023, it's not just simply like I teach the basics of Islamic knowledge towards the public, but also in order to raise the awareness of the public knows about the relationship between the Islamic religion and the current issues that is going on in the nation.
On TikTok, Ryan publicly expresses his support for Perikatan Nasional, or PN, a coalition of Malay-centric parties like Bersatu and PAS. In November 2022, Ryan posted a video accusing the Democratic Action Party, part of the PH coalition, of racism against Malays. The video quickly went viral, garnering 1.4 million views in a month. He uses hashtags such as TolakPH and TolakDAP, or RejectPH and DAP, to help his videos gain traction.
Perikatan Nasional for me is like a political party that maintains the pureness of Islam. During the days of GE15, all of my Malay friends, they are post about the dark side of the DAP. I choose Tolak DAP because DAP is as a political party who attempts to refuse any single kind of special rights that is possessed on Malay's hands.
Guys, aku nak tambah sesuatu.
Despite the DAP's insistence that they are not anti-Malay, many TikTok accounts, like Ryan's, continue to circulate divisive content.
So you have this increasing polarization in terms of ethnic and religious lines, and that's something quite dangerous, including urging supporters to vote on ethnic or religious lines, including insinuating something about your opponent's religious belief, and also spreading misinformation that so and so party is affiliated to communism when that is not the case at all.
And on social media, falsehoods are more popular than truths. A study of Facebook demonstrated that misinformation received 6 times as much engagement as legitimate stories, a problem that could be potentially worse on TikTok.
Most of the fake news we know by character is more emotionally charged in nature, and video appeals more than text or images. So by nature, how the platform is created and how algorithms work. So the threat of misinformation and disinformation spreading wider is higher on TikTok.
Additionally, the algorithm tends to serve up content based on the user's likes. This, experts caution, can create echo chambers.
Echo chamber is a symbolic term basically that refers to an ecosystem that we build around ourselves, where the information that we get is usually something that resonates with us and falls in alignment with our existing beliefs. So the algorithms on TikTok are primarily content driven, and they're not as much as tie driven, network ties. What this does is you will end up creating an echo chamber around yourself, which is primarily based on content.
There's a certain emotional connect that they have with this kind of content. They will end up consuming more such content, pushing them again into this rabbit hole where all they see and all they hear is misinformation, and they start to believe in that. And that can have really bad real-world consequences.
Relative to other social media platforms, TikTok is a new entrant to the political space. As falsehoods proliferate on the platform, TikTok's policy team has had to keep up with the growing problem.
In our latest refresh of our community guidelines in March this year, we have moved away from the term disinformation, but we have bolstered, our misinformation policy, where, regardless of intent, we do not allow content that is inaccurate, misleading, or false that may cause significant harm to our users, as well as the society, to proliferate on the platform.
In the immediate aftermath of GE15, no party won a majority of seats. As Malaysia faced a hung parliament last November, videos alluding to the May 1969 race riots began circulating on TikTok, insinuating a repeat of history.
Suddenly you have this influx of videos that alluded to the May 13 racial riot. Says that so-and-so party is going to be in power. Well, we may need to have May 13 again to remind people of certain power arrangement and so on, which is almost like a poor fuel, right? Poor fuel on something, and just a moment somebody can lead the fire. So I think that's definitely the danger right there.
TikTok's trust and safety team was on high alert over fears of ethnic violence.
Under our community guidelines, we have specific policies for hateful speech and hateful behavior, and this includes content that attacks, denigrates, insults, or dehumanizing any individual or groups based on protected attributes, for example, race, religion, or ethnicity.
I think when it comes to issues of hate speech, there should be a no-tolerance approach, because that destroys the fabric of Malaysian unity. The hardworking employees of TikTok immediately took action by taking the videos down.
Ryan, for one, has had a video removed for violating TikTok's guidelines when he posted content that was anti-LGBTQ. He disagrees with TikTok's enforcement.
For me, the video that has been taken down should not be treated as hate speech, because in the Constitution, the official religion of our own country is Islam.
As TikTok improves safeguards against harmful content on its platform, there are other challenges on the horizon.
Now it's a second major investment.
Whether it likes it or not, TikTok has become an important player in the political space. As a result, it has had to increasingly invest in content moderation. It has grown its global trust and safety team to 40,000 people, who are supported by AI tools to filter harmful content.
We have people for context, local teams as well as local content moderators who are able to provide local context and societal nuances in our enforcement of policy decisions with regard to harmful misinformation. In our latest community guidelines enforcement report in March this year, more than 96% of violative content has been removed from the platform before any user reporting. And more than 91% of violative content were actually removed within 24 hours of being posted. So this is how we measure ourselves against.
Now, you can train AI systems to sort of look for some of these things by training these systems on multiple such videos, and the systems will eventually learn and be able to identify or at least flag such content and send it for moderation even before the video is uploaded or starts to show up on people's For You page.
Ahead of the elections, TikTok also announced its partnership with the Election Commission of Thailand to monitor disinformation.
In Thailand, for example, during the early onset of the pandemic, there was initially a lot of confusion as to which information can be considered true and which information can be considered false. And we see our role here as providing our users with access to authoritative information about the election. We take our partnership with the Election Commission of Thailand to set up the Election Hub, where our users can find authoritative information about the elections. We are also working with a local anti-misinformation organization called COFAC to promote educational videos about the harm of misinformation, as well as how our users can discern and respond to misinformation if and when they see them.
But as what has been seen with other social media platforms, content moderation is not foolproof.
I think in this discussion of guidelines of social media, we tend to forget the fact that all of these social media companies, they are a profit-making company. They are in it for the business, they are in it to make money, and any social good or bad is just a byproduct of what's happening. I think the guidelines that currently exist are not strict enough to pull off political misinformation and disinformation on the platform. I think they could do better.
Oftentimes, the videos that TikTok becomes or has become infamous for are the ones that have genuinely missed these different moderation steps and have sort of just gone through the cracks. If moderators are able to review those videos and are able to remove them, they're still able to solve, say, approximately 80% of the problem. Right? Now, obviously, that doesn't solve the problem 100%. So some videos will still seep through the cracks. And they might still go viral, but such a combination of moderation still does a decent enough job to remove most of the violative content.
But a challenge for content moderation is that the line for what violates guidelines can be imprecise. In Malaysia, graphic designer Fahmi Reza is known for criticizing the government through his art on TikTok.
Parlimen yang memuluskan supaya korang yang umur 18 tahun, 19 tahun, 20 tahun sekarang dah boleh mengundi.
His provocative content has been reported for guideline violations.
So badge-badge yang aku pakai ni adalah mengekspresikan pandangan aku tentang situasi politik dekat Malaysia lah. Aku dapat tahu pasal TikTok punya. Aku dapat tahu pasal TikTok punya content standard dari hari pertama aku gunakan TikTok. Bila aku upload 3 video, dan aku dapat 2 warning daripada TikTok untuk 2 video yang langgar TikTok punya community guidelines lah. Video pertama, aku dapat warning untuk adult nudity dan sexual activity, dan video kedua aku dapat warning untuk harassment and bullying. Mereka turunkan video ni, tapi aku appeal kepada TikTok dan mereka naikkan balik video tu. Jadi benda ni bagi aku dah biasa dah. Sebab aku rasa memang mesej aku bertujuan untuk menghasut orang untuk melawan pemerintah dan penguasa yang korup.
I think the aim is to obviously be very, very strict and sort of have like 100% accuracy rate. However, the issue is that no system is 100% accurate, and obviously humans also make like genuine mistakes.
Combating misinformation, both at scale and speed, especially during fast-paced election, has always been an industry-wide challenge. It's never a straightforward process to be able to differentiate between fact and fiction, to determine who is the single source of truth, and also to differentiate between genuine and paid political opinions.
And emerging technology could make the moderator's job more difficult. Some experts warn about the advancement of deep fakes.
Deep fakes refer to any fabricated images, audio, or video that is created using AI. It would usually feature individuals saying or doing things that is not necessarily true, and did not happen. I think when you especially talk about political misinformation and disinformation, deepfakes are a bigger threat. We as social media users are more likely to rely on video as a real depiction of the world around us as compared to text or images for that matter.
On a visual-heavy platform like TikTok, deep fakes can be especially problematic. So, as with falsehoods and hate speech, TikTok has had to update its policies to account for such manipulated content.
At TikTok, we have in place a synthetic media policy. This policy serves to prohibit users from using synthetic or manipulated media to distort information that may cause harm and confusion to our users. For example, we have in place a effects label. This will clearly indicate when a user is using certain effects in their content, such that their audience can be fully aware that an effect is being used in place.
Back in April 2021.
Here's an example of a deep fake. US President Joe Biden's talking points delivered by former President Donald Trump. Admittedly, this deep fake is a little crude now, but as technology advances, for the average viewer, it will become indistinguishable from authentic videos. Just as AI is used to generate the fake content, it could be up to AI that detects them. Last year, AI Singapore hosted a trusted media challenge where participants developed deep fake detection models. Xie Xiaofei and Guo Qing led the team, which won third place.
We developed a deepfake tool that contains 4 phases, including the fake voice detection, fake face detection, and inconsistent detection.
I don't know.
In this system, we upload the target video first, and our system could start to conduct deepfake analysis. This includes face detection, voice detection, and inconsistency detection, and the whole process only consumes 5 to 10 seconds. We can get one score for each frame. Those frames with higher scores are more suspicious. We can see this frame with the highest score. And for the voice detection, there are some parts sound unnatural, so these parts are manipulated by human.
But look, these are the most advanced semiconductor chips on.
So we can see Trump is speaking, his lips are moving, but there is no audio, no speech at all. So we can see that there is an obvious inconsistency between his lips and his speech. This is why we think our system judges it as a deepfake video.
Third one, so I think this is the generation and the detection. So this is a constant state of competition. So more advanced detection, more advanced generation, more advanced detection again. Yeah. So such a battle between the detection and the generation so requires a regular updates and iteration of the techniques to make the detection more effective.
In the meantime, there is a major election on the horizon where TikTok could play an important role. The race for the presidency in Indonesia. In Indonesia, TikTok is booming. With over 110 million active users, the archipelago has the second most TikTokers in the world, behind only the US. Almost all its users are under the age of 34. And like elsewhere in the world, it is an increasingly important source of information for this group.
Di sosial media, bahkan di TikTok pun aja itu udah mudah banget untuk akses tentang mungkin profil calon presiden yang akan nanti maju.
Pasti TikTok akan menjadi salah satu sumber informasi setelah baca-baca dari media kredibel. Ribet-ribet ya? Oh iya.
If you talk to the younger students, I talk to students in my class, they don't want long-form journalism, they don't want editorials, they don't want 30-minute news reports. They are looking for something which is short, bite-sized.
And very often on TikTok, these bite-sized news clips are delivered by influencers, creators who have built a certain following on the platform.
Surya Paloh pun merasa dijauhi oleh Jokowi.
And for youths, influencers could have more clout than lawmakers. At least one poll in the UK showed that teenagers trust influencers more than politicians.
Ya, saya rasa informasi dari tadi ya influencers itu ya lebih mudah diterima karena pertama mengaksesnya lebih mudah gitu ya. Tadi ya dengan media sosial dan itu lebih lebih empowering dalam artian ada interaksinya gitu ya. Kita bisa ikut komen bahkan gitu ya.
In Indonesia, influencers who promote a political party or candidate are known as buzzers.
Ini salah satu contoh akun TikTok yang bisa dibilang sebagai influencer politik, karena Cokro TV ini memang dia bukan hanya di TikTok, tentunya dia juga ada YouTube dan media sosial lain yang memang secara konsisten membahas politik.
But influence can be bought. On social media, a content creator can be paid to say a message or sell a product for the right price.
Banyak orang mulai mengidentifikasi buzzer dalam artian buzzer politik sejak 2019. Tapi sebetulnya fenomena buzzer terlibat dalam politik sendiri itu sudah dari 2012. Saat itu Pilkada Jakarta, Jokowi dan Ahok maju.
So if the government is using social influencers to spread message regarding a social policy, right, it's probably a good thing. But if it's being used to push political agendas, then we are in dangerous territory. Because again, we go back to the discussion of who's using TikTok. It's the younger voters, right? It's the youth who are the politically ambivalent one. They don't care.
To make their posts appear authentic, many buzzers want to keep the paid relationships with their clients a secret. Which is why buzzer Tony agreed to tell us the ins and outs of his work only on conditions of anonymity. He amplifies political messages by sharing them using multiple fake accounts.
Ya, salah satu pekerjaan kita ya begitu, jadi buzzing di dunia politik, isu-isu politik. Gini, di sosial media itu butuh aset-aset digital yang banyak ya. Kalau kita cuma satu orang punya satu akun misalnya, ya kita jadi sangat terbatas nanti. Saya pernah kelola klien dari level kontestasi kepala negara, presiden, sampai pemilihan kepala daerah. Juga untuk pemilihan calon-calon legislatif.
And Tony could soon find himself very busy. Indonesia is gearing up for its presidential elections in February of 2024. In previous contests, platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter played pivotal roles in political campaigning. But with its rising popularity, TikTok could dominate come 2024, especially since more than half of Indonesia's 204 million voters are millennials.
TikTok pasti akan naik dalam election ke depan menurut saya. Tapi model seperti apa dan bagaimana kontennya itu menurut saya, sejauh pengetahuan saya, para buzzer juga masih mengeksplorasi dan masih bereksperimen.
The 2019 presidential election was a contentious affair. Disinformation, known as hoaxes in Indonesia, was rife on social media. For example, President Joko Widodo was accused of being part of the now defunct Indonesian Communist Party, a party that was banned around 1965 when Jokowi was 4 years old. The worry then is whether buzzers will be roped in to smear opponents or spread falsehoods ahead of the 2024 election.
Kalau buat negatif campaign mungkin masih ya, masih ada saat-saat kita memang bermain di situ. Tapi kalau auto hoax sih dari pengalaman sih nggak pernah. Tapi kalau black campaign kan kecenderungannya adalah isu itu tuh benar-benar baru muncul gitu. Dan tanpa bukti-bukti yang jelas gitu, cuma desas-desus tapi ramai jadi di sosial media. Ya kita sering baca itulah itu di sosial media. Mungkin itu juga jadi pilihan teman-teman di luar sana yang bermain di situ gitu. Tapi ya nggak apa-apa, sah-sah aja sih. Ya karena itu pilihan mereka gitu. Ini beda karakteristik TikTok dengan platform lain. Karena kalau di TikTok kan orang itu nggak perlu bikin video yang sinematik, estetik buat jadi viral gitu ya.
To counter the problem, TikTok has enacted policies to curb what politicians and parties can do on the platform.
In September last year, we have rolled out our government's political parties and politicians' accounts policy. And what this means is political parties and politicians on our platform will not be able to engage in any monetization activities on our platform. And this, of course, includes paid political advertisements as well as campaign fundraising.
However, it can be very difficult to ascertain who is posting genuine opinion and who is being paid, especially for clever buzzers who know how to cover their tracks.
Karena memang kan ranah kita ranah underground nih, bukan yang tampil dengan profil masing-masing atau ada di akun-akun media sosial masing-masing gitu ya. Tapi lebih ke petarung-petarung di bawah tanah gitu. Karena kan politik ini dinamis ya. Suatu saat kita ada kemungkinan nggak mengelola satu klien di kubu yang sama gitu ya. Bisa juga nanti kita akan mengelola klien-klien yang justru berseberangan dengan kubu yang sedang kita kerjakan sekarang.
There is definitely clear-cut incidents where social media influencers were being paid to create content. It's very tricky to know where, because unlike in your newspaper days where you have to say this is sponsored or supported by who, in TikTok it's less clear. Let's say you're masquerading a sponsorship as news, or you're masquerading what is essentially a paid job as genuine opinions. I think that's dangerous and it's not healthy for consumers basically.
While we have community guidelines in place to make sure that creators do not engage in paid branded content with political parties and politicians, it's very important for creators to be information literate on their own as well. So we make a lot of effort to amplify our digital literacy and information literacy efforts offline in partnerships with government agencies and non-profit partners to make sure that we reach out to a larger segments of the population.
Ahead of the 2024 elections, TikTok is working with safety partners like Mafindo, a fact-checking outfit. The aim is to raise awareness about digital literacy and educate users about misinformation as well as hoaxes.
Baik, inilah tempat kami di Mafindo, tempat bagaimana kami melakukan koordinasi, diskusi, dan kolaborasi dengan banyak pihak. Mau lihat seperti apa? Yuk kita masuk dalam.
After spotting a hoax on TikTok or other platforms, Mafindo posts a clarification on their website and social media platforms.
Jadi kalau saya pikir kita juga punya peranan yang cukup penting dalam pemilu di 2024 nanti. Ya, sebenarnya terkait dengan peredaran mis dan disinformasi di TikTok, jadi Mafindo kami juga sudah melihat ya, sudah mulai bermunculan adanya disinformasi dan misinformasi yang beda di sana. Dan kami pikir ini menjadi hal yang perlu mendapatkan perhatian juga seperti itu. Kami juga terus melihat tidak hanya TikTok saja sebenarnya, tapi di platform lain juga ini juga ada peningkatan ya.
Halo Sobat Perludem.
For Perludem, a pro-democracy civil society group, the government also shares some of the blame for the spreading of hoaxes.
Ya, dengan terbatasnya regulasi kita gitu ya soal penanganan disinformasi khususnya saat pemilu, di Undang-Undang Pemilu bahkan tidak ada gitu ya. Di Undang-Undang Pemilu itu hanya menyebutkan media sosial bisa digunakan sebagai media kampanye. Masalahnya kan pada konten, pada tadi ya influencer, buzzer yang tidak terlacak tadi gitu.
One solution to stopping the buzzers: transparency in campaign financing.
Seorang calon itu membayar jasa influencers, itu kan tidak transparan berapa besar dia mengeluarkan uang untuk itu. Lalu siapa saja misalnya influencersnya yang di-hire untuk menjadi corongnya gitu ya, untuk ikut menyebarkan visi misinya misalnya, itu tidak terlihat di dalam laporan dana kampanye, karena biasanya di laporan dana kampanye sifatnya tuh gelondongan. Jadi misalnya ya jasa 100 juta misalnya, tapi tidak dijelaskan jasa ini tuh jasa apa. Di pemilu 2024 kalau ini tidak ada langkah gitu ya, langkah-langkah yang dilakukan, khawatirnya bisa mencapai pada titik dia bisa berbahaya pada demokrasi kita.
TikTok is no longer simply the platform of dance videos, cooking clips, and memes. Its dominance among young users mean it will continue to grow as a tool of political influence.
The threat of misinformation and disinformation is real, and it's here. We're not talking about the future, it's here, right now, present day. The threat exists. It can erode social trust, it can erode political trust, it can erode media trust. So the implications are far and wide.
So moving forward, I think it is important to work with friends at TikTok and other social media agencies to ensure that we balance it out. How do we ensure that we get a safe platform for fellow Malaysians and for the global community at large?